Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Podcast. This is episode 144.
I'm Daphne.
And I'm Fred. We are really glad you could join us today. We're going to look beyond just the code, really, and try to get inside the thinking of Sundar Pichai.
Yeah, we want to pull out some of the key ideas, the sort of foundational thinking that's driving Google's, huge bets on artificial intelligence. These are multi-decade strategies we're talking about.
Exactly. And today's discussion, it stems from a really interesting video that our producer, Kurt Robbins, who's a senior technical writer himself, suggested. It's called Google's Sundar Pichai Reveals Future of AI in Candid Talk with Marc Benioff.
And you can find that on the YouTube channel, DWS News. It's a pretty candid conversation.
It really is. And our goal here is pretty straightforward. If you're a technical writer, or maybe you're in IT implementation, understanding Google's core values, its history, its long-term game plan, basically the why behind the tech, that's super important.
Absolutely, because those things, they really dictate how AI gets built, how it's rolled out, and crucially for our audience, how it gets documented for the people actually using it.
You really can't write good docs for the future if you don't grasp the philosophy underneath it all. And that philosophy, it seems, it starts with something pretty fundamental: access.
Right. Pichai really traces his core values back to his childhood. He grew up in Chennai, South India, and he talks a lot about, strong family values, but especially this relentless focus on learning, on knowledge. Acquiring wisdom was valued much more than, say, material things.
And this wasn't just theoretical for him, was it? His appreciation for technology was, it was shaped by scarcity. There's this amazing anecdote he shared.
Oh, the phone story, yeah.
Yeah. His family waited 5 years to get a rotary phone line installed. Just think about that. That wait really defined the value of being connected.
5 years, it's hard to imagine now. But he said when it finally arrived, it wasn't just for his family.
No, exactly. People from all over the neighborhood would actually line up outside their house.
To call relatives far away, right?
It basically turned their home into a sort of community center.
Yeah.
All built around this one piece of technology. It's quite a powerful image.
And you can see how that experience would just deeply shape his view that technology is this, powerful community builder, a great equalizer, maybe?
Yeah, and that idea was reinforced later. He mentioned how rare access to computers was back then in India, maybe an hour every couple of months, if he was lucky.
Right, until he got to Stanford. Then suddenly, access was readily available.
And that difference, that scarcity versus availability, it just hammered home the idea. Access is opportunity, which, connects directly to Google's mission.
It really does. Their stated goal to make information universally accessible and useful. Pichai seems to view AI as the ultimate way to fulfill that mission. It's not just another product. It's about giving everyone, everywhere, a powerful collaborator for knowledge.
Okay, so let's trace his path to Google. Before he was focused on, say, software accessibility, he was actually really fascinated by the physical side of tech.
Yeah, the semiconductors. He talks about being drawn to Silicon Valley because of that, this almost magical idea of turning sand, common sand, into the substrate of the digital age, as he put it.
That background in material science, it's not just trivia, is it? It kind of informs Google's strategy now, building their own hardware, their own chips.
Definitely. But early on, that tech vision also had a humanitarian angle. He mentioned being inspired by things like the MIT One Laptop Per Child project, focused on getting tech out to everyone.
And he connects that inspiration pretty directly to his later work on things like Chromebooks.
Right, and maybe even more significantly, Android. I mean, that put a powerful computer, a smartphone, into billions of hands globally. That's massive democratization of access right there.
So he joins Google in 2004. He came over from Applied Materials, which is in the semiconductor industry. He wanted to be closer to where the tech was directly hitting consumers.
In 2004, that was a really pivotal year for the internet, wasn't it? That shift to Web 2.0 was happening.
Yeah, you had things like Gmail launching, Google Maps,
Yeah.
these rich interactive web apps. Google was really pioneering that whole software as a service idea. And get this, he joined just 3 weeks before Google's IPO. Same year, Salesforce went public, actually.
Wow, right in the thick of it. And one of the defining stories from his early days there, which really shows his persistence, is the whole Chrome browser saga.
Oh, yeah. When he and his small team first pitched the idea of Google building its own browser back in, 2006?
2006. They apparently faced some serious pushback internally.
The famous story is Eric Schmidt, the CEO at the time, basically asked them, "Are you crazy? We're not building a browser." He was worried about kicking off the browser wars again, like in the 90s.
Right, but the team didn't give up. They sort of bootstrapped the project, worked on it quietly, and focused on making it really, really good.
And then once they actually showed the working prototype to Schmidt, Larry Page, and Sergey Brin, Schmidt completely changed his tune, became a huge supporter.
That ability to push through, to innovate, even when the consensus is against you. That's a really key lesson, I think, for anyone working in, large tech companies or enterprise IT.
It really is. It shows that sometimes the big breakthroughs happen outside the main plan. And that same persistence, overcoming skepticism to launch Chrome, you can kind of see echoes of that in the way Google approached AI over the following decade, leading up to that big shift in 2017.
Okay, perfect point to pause.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Kurt Robbins.
Hi, this is Kurt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the Technical Writing Success Podcast.
So before the break, we were talking about that historical path, that persistence, which really set the stage for Pichai's biggest strategic move at Google, declaring it an AI-first company in 2017, shifting from mobile-first.
Right. And this wasn't just, a slogan on a poster. This came with massive investment. That same year, 2017, they announced AI-first data centers. And crucially, they launched the first generation of their own custom silicon.
The TPUs, tensor processing units.
Exactly, TPUs. Literally turning sand into the digital substrate, just like he talked about being fascinated by years earlier. It all connects.
And he mentioned in the interview 4 specific moments that really cemented this AI vision for him internally at Google. It wasn't just one sudden decision.
What were they? I remember AlphaGo.
Yeah, AlphaGo in 2016 was huge, obviously. But before that, there was the DARPA Grand Challenge back in 2010 with the autonomous cars. Then in 2012, Google Brain recognizing cats in videos using neural networks. That was a big internal milestone. And meeting the DeepMind team in 2014.
Okay, so it was a gradual realization, seeing the potential build over time.
Exactly, an evolution they were watching closely.
Now, for the IT pros and technical writers listening, Pichai highlighted something really critical from a technical standpoint. He pointed to a specific research paper from 2017.
The attention is all you need paper. Yes.
That's the one. He basically said it's the foundation for everything we now call generative AI.
He's right. That paper introduced the transformer architecture. Before transformers, AI models really struggled with understanding context over long sequences, like in a conversation.
How did it change things?
Well, the attention mechanism it described, it allowed the models to sort of weigh the importance of different words in a sentence, to grasp the context and the meaning much better. That was the fundamental breakthrough that enabled models like, ChatGPT and everything that followed.
And Google jumped on that right away, internally.
Oh, yeah. They used it to build models like BERT and later MUM, which significantly improved Google search by making the results way more relevant and context-aware.
Okay, but then, of course, the conversation turns to the competition, specifically ChatGPT bursting onto the scene.
Right. Pichai acknowledged that Google had been working on its own chatbot internally for a while, LaMDA. That's the one that famously had an engineer claiming it was sentient. Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. So why didn't they release it first?
Well, Pichai's explanation is that they held back deliberately. He framed it as a matter of responsibility, saying the technology had significant risks, and they wanted to ensure it reached a certain level of robustness and safety before putting it out there under the Google brand, giving their role as a global information provider.
That's the official line. But, you could also argue they were just caught a bit flat-footed, right? OpenAI launched ChatGPT just 2 months after getting that huge Microsoft investment.
That's the counter-narrative, definitely. Was it caution or being late? Pichai maintained they prioritized safety and saw the ChatGPT launch more as validation of the market rather than something that caused panic.
Okay, so regardless of the timing, what was Google's response?
It was pretty decisive. He described it as their full-stack approach. And for anyone working in IT infrastructure, this is really key.
What does full stack mean in this context?
It means they aim to control the entire pipeline, basically from the ground up. They build their own custom chips, those TPUs we mentioned for the hardware layer. Then they have world-class AI research, especially after merging Google Brain and DeepMind. And finally, they control the model development and iteration itself, like we're seeing with Gemini now, 2.5 out, 3.0 apparently coming soon.
So controlling the chips, the research, and the models.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That full stack control theoretically gives them a big advantage in terms of cost, efficiency, and intellectual property over the entire AI supply chain.
And that level of infrastructure control, it means that people like us, technical communicators, we need to understand these proprietary systems, this bespoke hardware, maybe in a way we haven't had to since the early mainframe days.
That's a really good point. It changes the game.
So looking further out now, what's the long-term vision beyond the current AI race?
Well, Pichai really stressed that Google makes these decade-plus bets. He used Waymo, their self-driving car company, as an example. That's been like a 15-year effort requiring huge investment and, frankly, a lot of patience.
Okay, so they play the long game. What else is on that long-term horizon?
He's definitely very bullish on quantum computing. He mentioned their 10-plus year commitment there and noted that one of their key quantum scientists actually just won a Nobel Prize.
Quantum. Okay, that sounds futuristic, but is there an immediate implication?
Yes, and this is a big one, especially for our industry. He flagged a major concern. Within the next, say, 3 to 5 years, quantum computing is expected to become powerful enough to break current encryption methods.
Break encryption. You mean like
the cryptography that protects everything from financial transactions and cryptocurrencies to sensitive enterprise code. It could create a real moment of vulnerability that IT departments need to start planning for now.
wow, okay, that's significant. So quantum is a big bet. What's the ultimate vision for, say, 2035?
The central prediction he offered was pretty profound. By 2035, he expects digital superintelligence as a collaborator for all of us to just be a reality, woven into everything.
A collaborator for everyone. And he thinks this advanced AI will actually bring back some technologies that maybe didn't quite work the first time around.
Exactly. He specifically mentioned Google Glass.
Google Glass, really?
Yeah. The idea is that a Google Glass 2.0 could actually work now because the AI is finally good enough to handle that seamless, multimodal interaction, understanding voice, gestures, what you're seeing without the clunkiness of the original.
That's fascinating. So the interface itself changes. Imagine documenting systems where the primary interaction isn't a keyboard, but maybe voice, gesture, augmented reality.
It completely changes how you'd approach documentation and user training. And he didn't stop there. He also talked about brain-machine interfaces, BMIs.
Like Neuralink.
He mentioned Neuralink as an inspiration, but also highlighted the work of neurosurgeons like Eddie Chang and companies like EgaNeuro.
And how does he see that fitting in?
He described that work as super inspiring, especially for people with severe disabilities. He sees technology as having this incredible potential to, reconnect people to the world in profound ways.
So collaborator, new interfaces like Glass, even BMIs. It's a pretty transformative vision, but it also sounds incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. And he did wrap up by stressing the need for responsible stewardship, acknowledging that this AI, especially as it gets better at improving itself, is maybe the most potent technology humanity has ever created.
Stewardship is key.
Yeah.
But he also seemed optimistic.
He did. He ended on this theme of human adaptability, pointing out how things like self-driving Waymo cars cruising around San Francisco, which would have seemed like pure sci-fi just a decade ago, are already starting to feel kind of normal.
That's true. We do adapt surprisingly quickly.
We do. We integrate these massive technological shifts.
So I guess that adaptability is the challenge for us too. For technical writers, for IT professionals, we need to get ready for a future where systems aren't just driven by code as we know it, but by these intelligent agents, using new interfaces, maybe resurrected Google Glass, maybe advanced BMIs.
Right. And understanding that full-stack infrastructure Google is building and the deep values driving it, that original mission of access, combined with this newer emphasis on cautious control and safety, that's really the groundwork for doing our jobs effectively, for implementing and documenting this responsibly.
Stewardship and innovation, like you said earlier, they have to go together as these systems evolve. It's a lot to think about.
It really is.
Thank you for listening to the Technical Writing Success Podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next week.